In this video we're going to take a look at an incident in Ashwood where a tree is after falling on the power lines and the couple are not sure what to do. This is the particular one here, so I'm going to tap it with my finger. As you can see, it gives me some details in the incident details screen, where it is on the map, and here we have your status, your CAD comments, OIMS, incident remarks, call accepted, the name of the caller, and the resources that have been sent. To write your own report on it, if you tap the report button at the top right hand corner, and you will be brought to the report overview screen. As you can see, it gives you the report type, so it's storm and flood, tree down. I'm going to tap on the overview section first. Let's start by putting in the job type. If I tap here on the screen, and it's a storm and flood incident, tap that with your finger. And then I'm going to select tree down. And the call type is a tree down limiting access. Once I have these selected, I tap on the Done button at the top right hand corner with my finger. The next section is communication. I'll tap on communication, and you'll see for alerted it already has the date in as the 30th of the 1st, 2012 at 16:25. Acknowledged then, if I tap on acknowledged, it was acknowledged on the 30th of the 1st. So I'm going to spin the wheels at the bottom here till I place 30 in the center of the 1st. So I look for January 2012 at 16:28. 16:28. When I'm happy with that, I'm going to tap on the acknowledge section again, and that's selected. The job must be cleared at a date later than when it was alerted and acknowledged, or it'll come up with a validation error later on. I'll leave it in there for the moment at what it stands. The call was detected by a resident or occupier or employee. In this case it was a resident. And how was the call reported? The call was reported, as you can see, 132-500 CAD Dispatch Center received call. I'm finished with this screen, so I'll tap on the Done button with my finger at the top right hand corner. The next section is location. The blue dot here is where I am located because I've turned on GPS, and the green dot is where the incident is happening. If the address is incorrect, if it has been noted as incorrect, this is your chance to edit it and change it. If I tap the edit button at the top with my finger, it brings me to a screen where I can enter more details about the address. You'll see I've got 48 Winborough Parade, suburb Ashwood, state Victoria, postcode 3147. And then extra information if you want to put that in. You'll see that there's Cross Street 1 and Cross Street 2. And down the bottom here, it has the latitude and longitude. There's also an option here to tap here to autocomplete the address. It says use the internet to try to fill in any missing parts of the location. So if I tap here to illustrate this for you, you'll see that now the state has been entered for me as well. This can be very handy for filling in pieces of information that you're not sure about. I'm finished with this screen, so I'll tap the Done button at the top right hand corner. The next section is unit responsible for area. I'll tap this with my finger, and in this case it's Waverley Rescue 1, so I need to change my own unit. If I tap this with my finger, the correct option to select here is SES Interstate. However, I'm going to select the wrong option just to show you how it would be validated, or how the wrong entry would be treated at the end when you try and submit the report. And choose other unit, and I'm going to scroll down I'll choose Waverley, and I've selected for responsible unit Waverley. I'll tap on Done. The primary unit is also Waverley. I'm finished with this screen, so I'll tap on the Save button. If you didn't want to save any of these inputs that you just made on this screen, you could also tap, and it brings me back to the Report Overview screen again. I've completed the Overview section, so next up I'll tap on Resources. In this section, it asks first of all for resource attendances, and I'll tap here to add this list. And the first thing it's asking me for is to enter the resource, so I'll tap Resource. And I'm looking to put in Waverley Rescue 1. I'll start typing it in the search bar at the top rather than scrolling down. As I type it in, it starts giving me loads of options with those letters in it. So I see Waverley Rescue 1 appear. I'm going to tap that with my finger and hit the Done button. With the On Scene, I can tap here and enter a date, and it's the 30th of the 1st, 2012. So I place the 30 in the center, 30th of January 2012 at 16:58. Once I'm finished, I'm going to tap here again on Scene, and that saves that entry for me. Returning, if I tap here to enter the time of returning, it is 30th of the 1st again, 2012 at 17:17. And then I tap the returning button. In station, if I tap here, and once again it's 17:17 as well, so I'll come down here and I'll choose 30th, and then for month it's the 1st, so January 2012 at 17:17. Oops, 17. So basically it has to be lined up in the center here. Once I'm happy, I can tap here and it selects it for me. For the four-wheel drive, it was not used, so I'll select that at the bottom. There was no delay experienced. The response code was 3 normal road traffic regs, and 6 kilometers were traveled. So I tap on the 0 and it brings up this bar for me, and I'm going to scroll up till I put 6 in the center. Then I'm going to tap here. That selects the 6 for me. I have omitted one section, which is team members. I need to tap here to add my team members, and then tap to select a team member. I'll tap on person to select a person, and I'm looking for a Bradley, so I'll start typing that in, and here we go. I'll select that and tap on done. This person was not the driver, so I'll tap on done again. I'll leave it on no and tap on done. I'm going to add one more team member, so I'll tap here and then tap on person, and I'm looking for an Elizabeth. You'll see that down the side here it gives you letters as well that you can jump to. These are sorted by the surname, so if you tap on these it'll jump to the surnames beginning with H. In this case I'm going to use the search bar again, and I'm looking for Elizabeth. Elizabeth Antonio, and hit done, and yes, Elizabeth was the driver, so I'll tap on yes. I'm going to hit the done button at the top right hand corner, and now I should have all the information in for this particular screen. I'm happy with it, so I'll tap the done button. The next section is personnel attendances. I can tap here. Personnel attendance, I can tap here again. The person, and it's fetching personnel for me. And we have Bradley. And done. And no, they were not the driver. And tap on done. And I'm going to tap here to add to this list and add one more person, which is Elizabeth. I'll tap on the search bar and type this in. And done. Elizabeth was the driver, so I'll tap on yes. And once I'm happy with this, I can tap on the done button. I'm happy with this section, so I'll tap on save at the top right hand corner. If you like, you could also discard these changes if you didn't want to save any of the entries you just made. The discard button is at the top left hand corner. I, however, am happy, so I'm going to tap on save. And let's take a look at the next section of the report, which is unseen. I'll tap this. It asks about the occupant details. If I tap here, occupant name, let me tap here to enter the details, and the keyboard appears. And the occupant name is Claire Laurent. I'll type that in. Once you're finished, you can tap anywhere else on the screen and the keyboard will disappear. Non-English speaking, that's no, so I'll leave that as it is. The occupant type is private and the owner type is private. I'm finished with this screen, so I'll tap on the done button at the top right hand corner. For insurance details, I'm brought to the following screen, which lists all the options for insurance. For this particular case, the property and contents insurance is undetermined, so I'll select that option. This is where you would put in the owner's name, building insurer and content insurer, and beneath that we also have insurance, suggested SES attendance. This is undetermined again. I'm finished with this screen, so I'll tap on done. And next up we have the first agency on scene. Let's tap on first agency on scene, and in this case it's VICSES down the bottom, so I'll tap that and tap on done in the top right hand corner. Under property use, if I tap that with my finger, I'm going to enter that it is a residential apartment or house. For dwelling, I'll put in one family dwelling and tap on the done button at the top right hand corner. The weather is clear, so I'll tap weather and it says undetermined. I'm going to tap on that to get the full list, and here we have it at clear. I'll tap on that, and then at the top right hand corner I'll tap on done. I'm finished this section and I'm happy with it, so I'll tap on the save button at the top right hand corner. Next up I'm going to have a look at assessment. If I tap on damage assessment, it asks me for the extent of damage and probable cause. The extent of the damage is the tree, and then it says partial in brackets, that's the one I'm looking for. And the probable cause is weather related, so I'll tap that with my finger to select it. Once again I'll tap on done in the top right hand corner, and next up I'm going to choose other collaterals. The structure type is a building with one fixed property. I will omit filling out external and internal damage. I'll leave these for the end so that when we're validating, these will come up as a mistake because they have not been filled in. And the damage utilities for electricity, none of these have been damaged. Was any livestock injured? That's no. And was livestock moved on warning? That's It's undetermined. Once I'm finished with this, I'll tap on the Done button in the top right hand corner. Underneath, if you wanted to give details about mobile properties, you tap here. It will ask you more questions about this. I'm not going to fill any of the mobile section out, so that when we're validating, this area will come up as an error and we can go back and fix it. I'm going to tap on Save. And the next section we'll look at is tasking. I'll tap on Actions Taken, and it asks me about the primary action. The primary action was cutting moved with chainsaw, and then secondary action was moved and made safe. I'll scroll down till I find that. I have it here, and tap the Done button in the top right hand corner. For civilian support, if I tap this, there were 0 injured, there were no fatalities, there was no evacuations, and there was 0 rescues as well. So I'll tap the Done button. And next up we have agency responses. If I tap on that, the emergency agencies, these are all not notified. Underneath that, for electricity, gas and water, none of these were notified either. I'm going to tap on the Done button at the top right. And equipment and problems is the next section. For problems encountered, there were no problems encountered. So I'm going to skip this section and tap on Done. And that's the tasking section completed. So I tap on Save at the top right hand corner of the screen. Finally, we've got Sign Off. I'll tap this with my finger. And the first section deals with handlers. Approved by. I'll tap this, and I need to search for the particular person, which is Bradley. Bradley Brennan down here, and tap on Done once I'm finished. The safety advisor, if I tap that, and I'm looking for John, so I'll type in John. Here we are, John Barba, and tap on Done at the top right hand. The final question is Dynamic risk assessment completed. That is yes. So I'll tap on the yes side of the button and tap on Done. I'm going to save this section. Before you can submit a report, it needs to be validated. So I'll tap on Validate. As you can see, it's loading, or it's checking all the entries that I made. As you can see, it's after bringing me to a screen with all these validation errors that I must first of all validate before I can submit the report. So I'll start with the first one. It says internal damage is a mandatory field. If I tap on this with my finger, it brings me to the area where I need to enter more data. Here I have skipped it earlier, so internal damage, if I tap here with my finger, and I need to select no damage in this case, and tap on Done at the top right hand corner. I'll tap external damage, no damage, and Done. And Done again. The third one is premises assessment is a mandatory field, so I'll tap this with my finger. I never put in the number of stories, which in this case is 2. And once again I'll tap on Done and Save. Now with this done, I'm going to tap the Validate again, and hopefully these top 3 errors will disappear. Next up, it asks me for resources. It says the en route time is a mandatory field, and it also says the value provided for in-station date time is invalid. So I'll tap on en route. And this one's invalid because if you have a look, the returning time is later than the station time, so I need to increase this. I'll just add on a few more seconds. And done. I'm now finished, so I'll tap on done at the top right hand corner and save. And I'm going to validate again. Overview for responsible unit. The value provided for responsible unit is invalid. So I'll tap here. It says other unit. Down here we've got problems encountered is a mandatory field. So I'm going to select undetermined. No problems encountered. And tap done at the top right hand corner. And save and validate again. The value provided for en route date time is invalid, so I'll tap on this again, try and make the time later. Let's try at 1640. Done and save, validate again. Mobile property type is a mandatory field, so mobile property type, that's undetermined. So mobile property type not applicable. And done. I'll tap done at the top right hand corner and save at the top right hand corner and validate again. And finally, the value provided for a responsible unit is invalid. So I'll tap on that. SES interstate. And I'll tap on Waverley and choose done and save, validate again. And as you can see, a pop-up box saying report validated, you may submit the report. I'll tap on OK. And now I can finally tap on the submit button at the top right hand corner. As you can see, it's submitting the report. And when it's submitted, you'll get another pop-up message saying report submitted. Tap on OK. Now you'll see it's completed. And you can go into these sections, but it's read only. In other words, you can't edit them again. You can look at what you entered, you cannot change them.